Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fella channel. First of all, apologies. I haven't been doing videos for at least probably a week now, but I've got a good excuse. Well, I haven't really, but you know, sometimes in life where everybody seems to get it on your nerves and just seems to want to cause you hassle and trouble, and or like sod's law, if anything can go wrong, it'll go wrong. And it's just been one of those weeks where everything's just been up in the air and going wrong, and it's just normal problems like that. So kind of I haven't really had much time to haven't had much time to get around to making videos. So, but I promise I will make it up this week and hopefully get back on track. So anyway, other than that, hopefully everybody's well, happy, healthy, hopefully enjoying life. Christmas is on its way. Boo hiss. I'm not a big lover of Christmas. I'm a bit of a Scrooge, but there you go. But anyway, it's coming up to, we just had Halloween, coming up to bonfire night, so hopefully the next sort of 5 or 6 weeks will fly by. But anyway, on to weekly reads video, because that's what you're here to see anyway, rather than listening to me dribble on. So I've got 3 books here that I've been reading this week, and I've got 2 as well that I'm going to be reading in the coming week. So the first book I've been reading this week is On the Trail with Jack the Ripper, written by Richard Charles Cobb and Mark Davis, who I know are a couple of really top-notch experts on the subject of Jack the Ripper. So it's been a good book. It's kind of been a bit like it's been brought up to date, because it's quite full of modern day photographs mixed in amongst all the text. And Jack the Ripper's been one of those true crime murders or mysteries that I've kind of tried to avoid. I find in life I don't go for the popular things that are going on in life, or think that everybody kind of makes a big buzz of, like, the latest TV shows or movies, and that doesn't kind of attract me, so I tend to avoid them, and then I might watch them or get into them a couple of years later. And I'm a bit like that with Jack the Ripper. It's kind of like, there's always books out about that, so I'll avoid that, and kind of never really got around to Jack the Ripper. But for some reason lately I've felt the need to get into Jack the Ripper, and it's really interesting. I've read probably 2 or 3 books in recent months about Jack the Ripper case, and it's really good. This book particularly goes through all the possible suspects, obviously all the victims, and then looks at what happened, who might have committed the crimes, and why, and all the possible the guesses and reasons why people keep coming up with suspects as to who they think it is, and it kind of explores them. But in this particular book, it also explores much of the locale around the Whitechapel area. But it's really interesting, and I think it's like a murder mystery brought right up to date especially with all the photographs. So it kind of brings it further forward rather than a crime stuck in the past. It's really good. It's priced at $14.99, so it's quite cheap. It's a soft cover book, and it's available from Pen and Sword Books. But that is On the Trail of Jack the Ripper, written by Richard Charles Cobb and Mark Davies. Although it's quite a basic book in some of the information, I quite enjoyed it, especially as a bit of a newbie to the subject. Right, the next book I've been reading was thoroughly good, and I love anything about Scottish history. So this one's been Robert the Bruce, Scotland's True Braveheart, written by Phil Carradine. I really like Phil's writing. He writes a lot on Scottish and Welsh history. And I find his books quite enjoyable and interesting. And it's always an easy read. And basically this is what this book does. It's like a chronological look at the life of Robert the Bruce. Some of the events and the more famous people that he was associated with. We've got him working with William Wallace, Robert the Bruce and Edward Longshanks, the road to Bannockburn, the Battle of Bannockburn, two endings, one story, the Declaration of Arbroath. But it's really a really good book, quite an easy read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's Robert the Bruce by Phil Carradine, Scotland's True Braveheart. And actually just up the road from me, where my wife works in the theatre, they were doing there was like a creative writing course or talk going on at the theatre there where she works, and Phil Carradine was one of them. So I was a bit of a fanboy and asked her to get him to sign one of my books, which he did. And apparently he knew who I was as well, which was even better. So I can highly recommend that about Robert the Bruce. It's a really good and interesting read. And the other book I've been reading is Voices of Russian Snipers. Eyewitness Red Army accounts from World War II, written by Artem Drabkin and Andrei Yulinov. See, I can manage those names. But basically the book goes through various accounts. I think, let me see how many chapters there were. There's 15 chapters, but actually one of the chapters looks at the top 10 Russian snipers and it has their body count in. I think that's chapter 2. And actually, Russian snipers, it seems like they were fantastic. They were excellent at being snipers. But the book tells you what it was like going through training in the Red Army, what it was like fighting for them, and generally just the harshness and the conditions that they were having to live through and go through during the Eastern Battle in the Eastern Front. And it's really good. I'm not going to name the names of the snipers because most of them they're all obviously Russian, and obviously quite a few of them are hard to say. And as you all know, I have trouble with some of the foreign pronunciations. But this is well worth a read, especially if you're into the Eastern Front, or maybe if you like fighting with regards to snipers. It's really good and quite interesting, and a good look into the skill of being a sniper. So that's Voices of Russian Snipers, Eyewitness Red Army Accounts from World War II. Published by Greenhill Books and priced at £25. But if you follow the links below this video, if you go to the pen and sword link, click on that, you'll be able to find this book. And you'll often find if you follow the link below this video, you can get the books cheaper. So I can recommend that book as well. Right, the two I've got to read this week, or two of them, is Shipwrecks in 100 Objects. Written by Simon Wills, published by Frontline Books and priced at £25. So again, if you're interested in this book, if you go onto the pen and sword link, you should be able to find it. These books are quite interesting. I've read about 4 or 5. I've read one on the First World War, Henry VIII, I think there was a U-boat one as well, and they're all really quite good and unusual. I haven't read the description for this book fully, so I'm presuming he probably looks at the author looks at various shipwrecks around the world and picks out any notable or hard to what am I thinking of? Hard to find stories involving shipwrecks and what's been found on them. So there's probably lots of treasure, gold and artifacts that are going to be revealed in this book. So I'm quite looking forward to reading this one. And the last book, I'm going to go a bit dark. Reading Hitler's Mind. There you go, if you want to go into that kind of headspace, that'll be a bit dark. Reading Hitler's Mind, the intelligence failure that led to World War II. And that's written by Norman Ridley. So, again, I think this is more, rather than going into Hitler's mind fully, which must be a scary place, it's more a case of the Brits looking into what, trying to work out what Hitler would do next, sort of thing. What the intelligence services thought would happen. Trying to second guess him and what his plans were. I was thinking it might actually be a good read because obviously we're all having to having to put up with Vladimir Putin at the moment, so it might be a few tips in there or a few points that might show a parallel with the two people. So that's Reading Hitler's Mind, written by Norman Ridley, published by Frontline Books, priced at £20. And they're the books that I am going to read this week. And that's kind of it. The last thing I wanted to mention was I'm thinking of starting up a WhatsApp group for the History Fella channel. That way it means I can let people know when I am doing a video, or if I'm held up one particular week or can't get around to doing certain videos, I can let people know in the WhatsApp group that, you know, there's a delay, or look out for so and so coming on this particular day, and then it keeps everyone in the know. And plus also, if we're all in kind of one big WhatsApp group, you can feel free to ask questions at any time, or recommendations, or what do I think of this particular book, or anything like that. So I'm more than happy to do that. I shall put my number down at the bottom of the description, and as long as I know who you kind of have a rough idea of who you are, your name, then I'm more than happy to accept you into the group. Obviously if there's any oddballs or weirdos, they'll just get declined anyway. But if you fancy being part of the WhatsApp group, then please feel free to send a message to my telephone number and I'll get that sorted out. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Please take care. I hope you're all having a good time and enjoying life. Now it's starting to get a bit colder. And if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. And there will be some more videos out over the next few days. So thank you very much, and please take care.